Welcome to the Elementary STEM Coach Podcast. I'm your host, Naomi Meredith, a former classroom teacher turned K-5 STEM teacher and coach. With over a decade of experience teaching and a master's degree in STEM leadership, I'm here to coach you throughout the year to help you gain back more time to create innovative experiences for your students. If I wanted to teach my students what every letter in STEM means in a week for my 3rd through 5th graders, what would I do? This is part 1 of a 2-part series where I'm going to be breaking down lessons that you can do to teach every single letter of STEM, whether this is back to school or you need a little refresh. And we're going to jump into it to give you the ideas, and you can walk away with a full week of lesson plans. Everything that I am sharing in here, I have a free downloadable PDF that you can grab where everything is listed out for all of the grade levels K through 5. You can grab those linked in the show notes, or you can grab them directly at naomimeredith.com/week of STEM plans. Also, if you haven't seen them already, I have created videos that you can use with your students that are about 2 minutes long, and they explain what STEM is. So there's a STEM overview video, and then there is a video for each letter in STEM. So one for science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm going to be referencing those videos. Those are part of these plans. And then there are other things that you can do as well. All right, so day 1 with your kids, they are excited to be in your class. What are you going to do with them? Well, this is a great time to introduce what STEM is. And that's where you're going to be playing that video, what is STEM, and give them a little snapshot. You don't have to tell them about everything, but just an overall view of what STEM is. Then you don't need to do this for the whole time. This is also a great time to go over your classroom rules, which you're always going to be reiterating for the next little while, pretty much all year. Let's be real. But you're going to go over your classroom rules. And then if you have some sort of class incentive, a positive behavior incentive, I play a game called Behavior Blast Off. So when they are demonstrating my classroom rules as a class, then they can earn a star and up to 5 stars to get a 5-star rating, which is really, really good. And the stars equal out to how many kids get to pick out of my prize box, or you could have whatever that incentive may be. I have a whole podcast episode about my Behavior Blast Off game, so make sure to go back and listen to that because it's very helpful for you to hear the whole reasoning behind it. And then I also have videos linked where I actually am introducing this to a class so you can hear the language that I used with them. After you introduce your classroom rules that are going to be used all year long, and then if you are implementing a positive behavior system, then it's time to play a fun little game and get to know those kids. I love playing with all of my students a game that I created called All About Me Brick Build, and you use Lego bricks to help answer the questions. So things like grab 3 greens if you have siblings. And so they can grab any shade of green, any size, any color for the first set of questions if that question is true about them. So you go through these questions I created. It's really fun. It gets the kids talking. Even if they don't love building with Lego bricks, they all start to participate. And also the way that I wrote the questions, almost all of them will be true about them in some way, but the way that they're chatting and talking about it will change for every class. You've accomplished day 1, and now you are on day 2. Whether day 2 is directly after day 1 or you see them the following week, totally doesn't matter in the way that I wrote these plans. That day 2, you're going to show the What is Science video, and then there's a quick little slide that kids can do as a group or separately that you can grab, and students will actually draw or insert photos, if you want to do this digitally, about their favorite things about science specifically. I like to create my example and share with kids and get them talking, and so this is really fun, something that you can build off each week. So if you did print these out, you could have them do the science page the first day, and then we're going to keep referencing all the letters, continuing on the days. You can do that page the whole time, but we know the kids love to build. And so, for an easy getting started, simple makerspace activity that doesn't take a lot of time, is you can have students create a straw maze. All you need are cardboard straws, tape, possibly marbles. I've done round marbles. I've also done marbles that are flat on one side. It does change things up depending on what kind you have or what you want to try. You could also use both. And students are going to create a simple marble maze using those materials. And with the sheets provided, they can actually do some tests to see if I tilt my cardboard a certain way, does it change the direction of the marble? If I add straws in this spot, does it change up things? There's also some math. Everything's very integrated, but there are some different science tests and observations and questions they can reflect on while they do this activity. Moving into day 3, this is all about technology. So you can start off class with the What is Technology video, then complete the next page in that packet or digital version, depending on your choice, and they get to draw or insert images of their favorite things about technology. This can all link together, and this next activity that is all about technology is really, really fun, and it's called Apps About Me. You could do all of the slides with the kids. For my older students, I've typically assigned the slides in Google Classroom where they're pretty comfortable with their computer skills, and they are learning new things as well, where they are answering these questions and creating fake apps with no coding that are all about them. You could also print out a page from the different options, especially for your third and second graders, depending on how much time, and they can create one app, and I have quotation marks that explain more about them. So this is a great way to kind of introduce some of that technology you might be using in class. Not all, maybe a little bit of digital citizenship, but again, that can be a whole other unit. So I wouldn't worry about it too much right now. This is just an overview of what technology is. All right, moving on to day 4 is the engineering day. And again, you could start off the video with the What is Engineering video, and then complete the next page where students are drawing their favorite things about engineering. If you're wondering what in the world could I add to engineering, a couple things that I added in there were I really like cruise ships. I like how they are engineered and how they're very innovative, and they're this giant floating city, basically. I also added in makeup because it's chemical engineering and how those different combinations create makeup that we can wear. So those are some fun examples. That one might be a little bit tricky, but it's a pretty cool one to explore. Then for the activity, students can create marble roller coasters, and all you need are some thin paper plates, the cheap ones that are not nice, that don't really have any ridges on them, those really flat ones that when you have pizza on them, all the grease soaks through. You know what I'm talking about? And then some tape and small cups. If you're worried about kids using too many cups, you can limit the amount of cups that they are allowed to use. And also, you could say they're not allowed to cut the cups. That way, at the end of the project, maybe you take a video or a photo of that marble maze, and then they actually have to take it apart and you have to reuse the cups. So that's actually a great routine to get into, especially as you're getting started with these challenges. Also, side note with these challenges that I'm talking about, you can have students do these together within partnerships and small groups. You talk about groupings in that way. I have a way that you can actually group students that I'll also link with the table numbers. So if you want to add in that routine, you can. But again, this is just some things to get into if you want to teach about STEM. And then, of course, you're adding in those other classroom things that you're hoping to do. And the last day is What is Math? And you can start off with that video of what is math, and then link it to them drawing their favorite things about math. And then from there, you can have students create a boat that floats and see how many items you can put inside before it actually sinks. So all you need is some tin foil, which maybe a restaurant will donate some to you. You never know. All you need are some tin foil and then something consistent that you want kids to put in when the boat is in water and see how much it can hold before it sinks. I've done Lego bricks, I've done marbles, counting bears. A lot of the same thing works the best, so the results are a little bit more consistent. And if you want to, you can even fill up the buckets of water beforehand. I had a set of buckets that were able to fit on a desk. They weren't too big, they weren't too small, but I ended up using these all the time. I did a lot of water in my classroom. And so the buckets don't have to be huge, but it's great to have those filled beforehand where students can go test their boat float. And then there are templates that they can keep track of their design, some questions to help with some observations. I hope this gives you some good ideas. This can be a whole week of your lesson plans. It can be a whole month of your lesson plans if you see kids only once a week. But these are some fun, quick activities to help students connect what each letter of STEM means to help set up the base of what your whole school year is going to be. This was all for 3rd through 5th grade, so make sure you check out the next episode where I share some ideas. Some will overlap, but ideas for kindergarten through 2nd grade. And along with that, grab your free downloadable PDF that has all of these lessons linked. That is linked in the show notes, or you can go directly at naomimeredith.com/week of STEM plans. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Elementary STEM Coach Podcast. I would love to connect with you over on Instagram at @NaomiMeredith_ or send me an email to elementarystemcoachpodcast@gmail.com. Also, make sure to check out my website, naomimeredith.com, to see all the show notes from today's episode and shop my K-5 STEM resources. Any questions you have, needs for resources, or ideas for episodes, get in touch. I'll talk to you soon.